Hello everybody, welcome to part 8 of the Xray T4 2014 build series. Part 8, what we will be doing is installing the shocks, the servo and part of the front bumper. The reason why I said part of the front bumper is for the fact that I've just gone ahead and done a few little things, as I always say, to save on time. As you can see here, I've also got some of the shocks mounted. So with the front bumper part, it's pretty straightforward. 3 screws to hold the bottom part on, and there's a nylock nut and 2 of these posts which hold the upper part of the bumper stay on. Your screws go into them, and you screw the body posts on. Pretty straightforward. So what we'll do is we'll finish it off quite simply by putting the foam bumper on. Pretty easy. Then what we'll do is we'll put the top part of the bumper on, bumper stay on, goes over the body posts, push it down like so, pretty easy. Excuse me a sec folks, I just got to turn it back a bit. Okay, now because I just have to remember, I can't remember which size, 3.8 millimeter, so it's these two. Okay, so now we just need these 2 screws and our 2mm Allen driver. As always folks, don't over tighten it. Just do it until you feel it nip, like that. So there you go, that's the front bumper done. Now what we'll do is we'll finish with the shock installing the shock absorbers. Pretty straightforward. We'll just need the screw, and what we'll also need is a 3mm Allen driver. Okay, so we put it on. If I can get it in the hole. That's what she said. Okay. Now, as I'm building this to the kit setup specifications, it's on the second outermost hole. No. Okay, so that's nice and tight. That's what she said. I'm sorry, I'm terrible for those jokes. Okay. Now what I have also done is I have gone ahead and assembled the floating servo assembly. By that, because what it means by floating servo is this part here doesn't actually touch the chassis, only this part does. So what we'll do is we'll install the servo onto it. Pretty easy. So we have our 4 screws. Make sure they're the right ones. Okay. Don't want that one, want the 2mm one. We won't need to put thread lock on this. I usually do put thread lock on metal, but with the plastic it'll provide a decent washer effect. What I will do is I will loosen this one off so I can turn it in, and this one here. For those wanting to know, this is a Savox, a digital servo. It's a low profile servo. It's metal geared. The number is SC-1251. That's the servo I'm using. This was actually in another model which I've since retired, as I have upgraded it to another model. Now, next part is we install the servo onto the chassis. So that means we also have to just put that in. You know, there's a little slot for it to sit in. Okay. What we'll do is we'll screw it in. And what we will do is we will use... Unbelievable, where did I put that? Ah, duh. Okay. Okay, so very carefully align it and screw it in. Bit more thread lock. Next hole. Oop. Okay. Now, don't know how this is meant to work. There we go. Now there is meant to be a screw that goes into this, but I cannot for the life of me work out how it's supposed to go in the first place. So what I'll do off camera is I'll actually put that screw in off camera, because the order of assembly is a bit off. So that's the servo mounted on. Now what we'll do is we'll install the rear body posts. One thing I will not be doing for the assembly is the little body mount parts where the body sits on, because the body that you choose will differ. So I won't be putting those on, so I'm putting those aside, so we won't worry about that. Okay, 2 screws. Actually, make sure they're the right ones. That one's a bit too long. There we go, that's better. Okay. That one. Okay, so that's the body post on. Now the last part, what we'll be putting on is the Lipo holders. Now there are 2 positions to put this on. I'm putting this in the standard position. It all depends on the batteries that you use. what I'll do is I'll just pop this upside down. Okay. Alright. So that's that done. Alright folks. It's amazing. It's the first time I've ever had a whole heap of screws left over. And I don't know what they're for. They'll be for something a little bit later on, people. I wouldn't get too worried. So that's this part of the build. Stay tuned for part 9, which will pretty much be the final assembly part of the chassis.